There was an alternative route inland from the north for those who wanted to avoid the rigours of the mountain track to the Dunstan. It had been pioneered by the run holders who had established sheep stations in the Shag Valley and on the Maniapoto Plain in the late 1850s. They needed a track to drive sheep and haul stores inland from the eastern coast, and then sled wool out again to the ports for shipment overseas. Shag Valley was quickly identified as the safest and easiest route, and a primitive bullock track was developed along its length from 1859, pushing on through to the Maniapoto. Now, it was given the picturesque name of the pig route, not because of the presence of pigs, but more likely because of the way that wagon wheels chopped up the mud made it look as if pigs had been rooting around there. The name itself a reminder of just how difficult this countryside to build tracks along, where wagons were often bogged up to their axles. For those on foot or horseback, the northern route was nonetheless a lot easier and less exposed to the weather than the shorter and more direct haul over the mountains via the Dunstan track. Starting from Dunedin, they could take a newly formed road over the hills and through the bush from Dunedin to Waikouaiti, but this was often impassable to wheeled traffic. Most goods were instead shipped by steamer up the coast. This also gave aspiring diggers an alternative way to reach the beginnings of the northern route at Waikouaiti by boat. Since there was as yet no jetty there, they were often carried through the surf to land by local Maori for a modest fee. You'd have to wonder though, if a digger was reluctant to get his feet wet at the beginning of the journey, how was he going to cope with the rigours of prospecting, which could involve days of standing thigh deep in the cold waters of the Clutha? From the beach at Waikouaiti, the road headed inland up the Shag Valley, then across the Maniapoto Plain to Murison Sheep Station near Pairo, also known as the Styx after the nearby river. It then linked up with the final section of the mountain track to cross Rough Ridge in the Raggaties to Galloway Station along the Manuhirakia River, and from there across the flatland to the Dunstan. Or, alternatively, the diggers could avoid the Rough Ridge section by pushing further north on the Maniapoto, coming around Blackstone Hill and approaching Dunstan from the north along the Manuhirakia River to its junction with the Clutha at modern-day Alexandra. Numerous smaller goldfields were discovered adjacent to parts of this route subsequently. Kyburn, Hogburn, now known as Naseby, Cambrians, St Bathans, Ophir and Matakanui. Much of the track has endured into the present as State Highway 85. This golden road efficiently carries modern traffic 160 kilometres from Palmerston to Alexandra, following in the footsteps of the pioneer diggers of 1862.